Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living. I'm Gary, and today what we're going to do is we're going to have a shish kebab, partially vegan shish kebab.
Welcome to Healthy Vegan Living, a whole food plant-based lifestyle.
So we have some nice hot water from cooking our baby potatoes, and we have fresh onions from our garden that I've cleaned and prepared in order to use on the shish kebabs. So now I'm going to just put these into the water gently because I don't want to get splashed with boiling hot water. Bring it back to a boil and cook these guys for about 10 minutes as well. They're about the same size as the baby potatoes.
And why do we cook them?
We cook them because if you don't, then it's going to be too raw on your shish kebab and make it not as pleasant. You also can buy cooked onions that are frozen and save yourself the step of having to cook fresh onions. Or you can buy pearl onions and use them as well from the vegetable counter. So I'm going to put the lid back on the pot as it comes back to a boil. As soon as it is a boil, I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes and it should be tender by then.
Now, one of the important things you have to remember is you have to put your skewer sticks in the water. You leave them in the water all the way to the very minute that you're getting ready to insert your vegetables.
Gary also has the mushrooms ready, and we're going to put mushrooms on the vegan shish kebabs so that we can have a nice meaty component for the people who are just going to have veggies on their skewer. So
We checked the onions, and they weren't fully cooked, so we added an extra 5 minutes. So that's a total of 15 minutes to cook the onions. Okay, so the next step we need to do is, I bought these mushrooms at our local grocery store. They were very dirty. Normally you do not wash mushrooms, but these were caked in mud, so I washed them, dried them very carefully. You cut off the bottom of your mushroom. You're going to be placing the stick, or in this case the skewer stick, in the middle, so that's why. So you take off that bad portion. Alright, so now we're ready for our next step. I took the onions off, and now we're going to place them in another bowl. Now the onion bulbs are going to go on the skewers, but some of the skin has fallen off. I saved that for my salads. Okay, now we go to the next step. We're going to cut our zucchinis to exactly 1 inch. If you're not sure or you can't gauge it, just simply use a measuring tape. Lay it on its side, assuming it's the upwards that is, and just kind of gauge where that is. So example, you could go something like that. So first you'd cut the end off, and then you cut it off this way. So that is a 1 inch piece. You want it at least this wide, because if it's too thin, it'll fall off the skewers. And then you can use it as you can gauge it for the other ones. It's not the end of the world if it's 1 1/4 inches or it's 7/8. It's just an approximation. The next step what we're going to do is we're going to cook our squash, our zucchini and our yellow squash inside of this pot where we cook the potatoes and the onions. The water is all hot, there's nothing wrong with it, and it'll have that delicious oniony taste to it too. Without burning yourself, that is. We're going to leave it in the water for 5 minutes. This will just give it a little bit of chance to cook before we put it on the skewer. Alright, so I'll put the cover on.
If you like what you see, subscribe. And if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.